There is a window closing right now, and most people in your neighborhood have no idea it even exists. Before June 1st, you can still walk into a hardware store, pull a sheet of plywood off the shelf, and pay the same price it cost last October. You can still order a Life P04 battery station online without waiting 3 weeks for a back order. You can still choose. After June 1st, according to data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the construction price index for coastal states has historically climbed between 20% and 30% within the first 2 weeks of hurricane season. Every single year. That is not an accident. That is a system that was designed to extract money from panic. And the industry supplying emergency goods has known about this predictable cycle for decades. They have never once sent you an email warning you it was coming. Stay here with me. The vault is just opening. Welcome to Bullet Survival. This channel exists for one reason: to dig up what the system buried and put it in your hands before the window closes. If you are new here, subscribe now, because what is inside the next vault is even heavier than what you are about to hear. FEMA's own response data from 2022 documents something staggering. After a storm alert, the average time between the announcement and the complete depletion of water and battery stock in affected areas was 7 hours. 7 hours, not days, hours. The logistics model that feeds every Walmart and Home Depot within 50 miles of your home is called just-in-time. It was not designed for your safety. It was designed to eliminate warehouse costs for corporations. What that means in practice is brutal. The stock you see on the shelf today is all there is. When the trucks stop moving, the shelves do not refill. The system cannot generate profit from keeping emergency stock sitting in a warehouse for your benefit, so it does not. What cannot generate profit gets buried from public knowledge. Here is the first thing this should make you angry about. The average age of America's electrical infrastructure is 40 years. According to the Energy Information Administration, during June and July heat peaks, the grid in Texas and Florida operates at approximately 95% of maximum capacity. ERCOT, the agency that manages Texas's grid, recorded official conservation requests in 4 of the last 5 summers. Your utility company has never mentioned any of this to you. Not once in an email, not once on your bill. The General Services Administration has been specifying solar film and alternative energy solutions for federal buildings for 30 years. Residential customers, nothing. The absence of that communication is not an oversight. It is architecture. A customer who knows how to protect themselves is a customer who buys fewer emergency services at peak prices. The ancient Romans understood something about this that the modern grid industry has carefully avoided discussing. For millennia, before the concept of a centralized power company even existed, communities built their resilience into their daily routines rather than outsourcing it to a corporation. The Aztecs stored water in systems that required no external supply chain. The Greeks documented food preservation methods that worked at 105°C without refrigeration. 2 great civilizations separated by an entire ocean arriving at the same discovery. The household that controls its own inputs cannot be held hostage by the supply chain. That knowledge did not disappear. It was made inconvenient. There is a measurable difference between something being lost and something being deprioritized because it cannot generate recurring revenue. Read that again. Now let us talk about what the window actually means for your wallet, because this is where the numbers become uncomfortable. Hurricane Ian made landfall in Fort Myers in 2022. Within 48 hours of road paralysis, the parallel market price for ice and potable water rose 500%. Not 50%, 500%. A family that had spent $31 on a gravity water filter and 2 water bob bathtub bladders the week before had access to hundreds of gallons of clean water at 0 additional cost. Their neighbors were paying premium prices for whatever remained on shelves within driving range, if they could drive at all. $31 versus the convenience tax of unpreparedness. That gap is the entire business model of the emergency retail industry. They do not profit when you are ready. They profit when you are desperate. The 10 categories that the American logistics system structurally cannot replenish fast enough after a June 1st event are not random. They share a specific characteristic. They are all items where demand spikes instantaneously and manufacturing lead time is measured in weeks, not hours. Window protection materials like plywood and sandbags hit peak demand within the first 6 hours of a named storm alert, before most people have even finished watching the news segment. HEPA filtration units, the kind that can handle wildfire smoke from fires burning 1,000 miles away in Canada, sold out across the northeastern United States in June 2023, when New York recorded the worst air quality index of any city on Earth. The EPA's Air Now database confirmed particulate matter readings that exceeded safe thresholds for 6 consecutive days. The stores did not know it was coming. The supply chain did not know. But the seasonal pattern that drives it has been consistent for years, and no retailer has structurally adjusted their inventory to account for it, because holding that inventory costs money and insurance that cuts directly into margin. Gravity water filters are the single most underrated item in this conversation. FEMA recommends 1 gallon of water per person per day as a baseline. In conditions above 100 degrees Celsius, conditions that are now documented as increasingly common in Texas, Arizona, and the Carolinas, biological water need can double. A family of 4 in a grid-down heatwave scenario needs 8 gallons per day minimum. Municipal water pressure fails when electric pumps lose power. The well pump in your backyard runs on electricity. The only water you are guaranteed access to in a true grid-down scenario is water you have already stored or can filter from a natural source. A quality gravity-fed ceramic filter costs between $45 and $90 at normal pricing. During post-disaster scarcity, units that remain available online have historically sold for 2 to 3 times that figure, with shipping delays of up to 3 weeks. You cannot patent gravity. The technology is 4,000 years old. That is precisely why it never appears in a utility company's emergency preparedness email. There is no subscription model attached to it. Life PO4 battery stations deserve a category of their own because the shift from gasoline generators to lithium iron phosphate stations represents something the fuel industry has been extraordinarily quiet about. A gasoline generator at 105 degrees Fahrenheit produces noise that travels. In a neighborhood without power, noise signals that someone has resources, and resources attract attention you may not want. A Life PO4 station produces 0 noise, 0 fumes, and can be recharged by a $60 foldable solar panel. The energy industry has been aware of this technology for more than 2 decades. The residential market received almost no public education about it until independent content creators and prepper communities began distributing that information. A family in Phoenix documented that a mid-range battery station paired with 2 100-watt panels kept their refrigerator, a CPAP machine, and 3 phone chargers operational through a 19-hour outage, saving an estimated $340 in food spoilage alone. Stabilized fuel deserves 30 seconds of your attention for a reason most people never consider. When the grid fails, gas station pumps fail with it. The pumps are electric. The fuel sitting underground in the tank at your nearest station becomes physically inaccessible without grid power. Every gallon of stabilized propane or treated gasoline that you store legally in approved containers today is a gallon that exists completely outside that dependency. Fuel stabilizer costs approximately $8 per bottle and extends gasoline shelf life from 30 days to 12.24 months. That information is on the bottle. It has always been on the bottle. No energy company has ever run a campaign encouraging you to reduce your grid dependency. What cannot generate recurring revenue gets buried from public knowledge. I need to be honest with you about one thing before we close. The preparation window concept is real, and the data supporting it is real, but it is not a reason for fear. It is a reason for timing. Nothing in this list requires more than $50 per week, spread across 4 weeks, to build a foundational level of household resilience that puts you in a categorically different position than 65% of your neighbors. That figure, 65% of Americans without more than 3 days of supply on hand, comes from documented FEMA preparedness surveys, and it is not a moral failing of those people. It is the predictable outcome of a system that profits from dependency and has spent decades making preparation feel either unnecessary or overwhelming. Neither is true. The knowledge was never gone. It was made inconvenient. The Romans knew it. The Aztecs knew it. The homesteaders who built this country without a grid knew it. And now you know it. At a moment when the window is still open and the trucks are still running and the shelves still have stock at pre-panic prices. Every person who acts on this information this week is one less customer for the emergency retail markup machine. Every share of this video is one more neighbor who will not be competing with you for the last case of water at a 500% markup. Subscribe and share with someone who needs to remember what they made us forget. The next vault opens soon. And what is inside is something the energy industry has actively suppressed for 50 years. You are going to want to be here when it opens.